She reached across the table and brushed my hair away from my forehead and eyebrows. Her fingers were twisted, but her touch was cool and wonderful. I closed my eyes for a moment. When I opened them again, I had made a decision. "I'm all right," I said. "And almost finished. Elaine, would you read something?" I offered her the pages I had clumsily swept together. They were probably no longer in the right order. Dolan really had scared me badly, but they were numbered and she could quickly put them right. She looked at me consideringly, not taking what I was offering. Yet, anyway. "Are you done?" "It'll take you until afternoon to read what's there," I said. "If you can make it out at all, that is." Now she did take the pages, and looked down at them. "You write with a very fine hand, even when that hand is obviously tired," she said. "I'll have no trouble with this. By the time you finish reading, I will have finished writing," I said. "You can read the rest in a half an hour or so. And then if you're still willing, I'd like to show you something." "Is it to do with where you go most mornings and afternoons?" I nodded. She sat thinking about it for what seemed a long time, then nodded herself and got up with the pages in her hand. "I'll go out back," she said. "The sun is very warm this morning." "And the dragon's been vanquished," I said. "This time by the Lady Fair." She smiled, bent, and kissed me over the eyebrow in the sensitive place that always makes me shiver. "We'll hope so," she said, "but in my experience, dragons like Brad Dolan are hard to get rid of." She hesitated. "Good luck, Paul. I hope you can vanquish whatever it is that has been festering in you." "I hope so, too," I said, and thought of John Coffey. "I couldn't help it," John had said. I tried, but it was too late. I ate the eggs she'd brought, drank the juice, and pushed the toast aside for later. Then I picked up my pen and began to write again, for what I hoped would be the last time. One last mile. A green one. 2. When we brought John back to E Block that night, the gurney was a necessity instead of a luxury. I very much doubt if he could have made it the length of the tunnel on his own. It takes more energy to walk at a crouch than it does upright, and it was a damned low ceiling for the likes of John Coffey. I didn't like to think of him collapsing down there. How would we explain that, on top of trying to explain why we had dressed Percy in the madman's dinner jacket and tossed him in the restraint room? But we had the gurney, thank God, and John Coffey lay on it like a beached whale as we pushed him back to the storage room stairs. He got down off it, staggered, then simply stood with his head lowered, breathing harshly. His skin was so gray he looked as if he'd been rolled in flour. I thought he'd be in the infirmary by noon if he wasn't dead by noon, that was. Brutal gave me a grim, desperate look. I gave it right back. We can't carry him up, but we can help him, I said. You under his right arm, me under his left. What about me? Harry asked. Walk behind us. If he looks like going over backward, shove him forward again. And if that don't work, kinda crouch down where you think he's gonna land and soften the blow, Brutal said. Gosh, Harry said thinly, you oughta go on the Orpheum circuit, Brute, that's how funny you are. I got a sense of humor, all right, Brutal admitted. In the end, we did manage to get John up the stairs. My biggest worry was that he might faint, but he didn't. Go around me and check to make sure the storage room's empty, I gasped to Harry.